Now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, the tour. I couldn't wait to cover the tour and visuals. These topics have so much research behind them, and they connect to the album dates and everything else I've covered. That's why I saved visuals and tours for last. But I know there are probably so many questions when it comes to the topics of acts and tours. But let's start with the tours first. Like, what could Beyoncé's Act 2 and Act 3 tours look like? Since Beyoncé came out with a disco horse for Renaissance, do you think she'll use a white horse for the Cowboy Carter tour or a black horse for Act 3? And the biggest question is, how will Beyoncé top the Renaissance World Tour? And if you thought her last tour was iconic, wait until you hear these theories. Now, I don't have theories about how the tour will go because that's something we just won't know until it happens. But I do have theories and evidence about when I think she'll go on tour, and way more that you don't want to miss. So since you've made it this far, why not stick around? But first, let's get to Act 1. But before we get into what's next, let's talk about some Act 1 facts. A lot of the Beehive is still stuck in that era, and honestly, who could blame them? That era will forever be legendary in Beyoncé's books. But did you know that Beyoncé's last tour grossed over $500 million? So I guess the question is, will Act 2 surpass that? And if you didn't know about Beyoncé's influence, her tours also attract fans from over 100 countries. So the exciting thing is that Act 2 Beyoncé could probably break her own tour record plus more in the future. And let's not forget Act 3, since it's set to be the final act. During her Renaissance tour, Beyoncé performed for over 2.5 million fans. So what could Act 3 possibly bring? It's entirely possible that both the Cowboy Carter and Act 3 tours could outdo the Renaissance tour, especially Act 3, being the grand finale of her trilogy. Fans who missed her previous tours will likely seize this opportunity before Beyoncé takes what might be a long break from the public eye. Because unlike many artists who tour every year or every other year, Beyoncé tours feel rare and significant. She typically only tours after dropping an album, and with 3 acts in this series, we know this could mean an extended hiatus afterward. More tours in the lineup would reassure fans that they'll have another chance to see her live. But with Beyoncé, it's never guaranteed. She spaces her tours out over years, making every one of them feel like an unforgettable event. That said, this is all speculation, if she even decides to tour again. Now here's Beyoncé's touring legacy. To put it in perspective, Beyoncé has only done 9 solo tours. Some of the most notable ones include the Dangerously in Love Tour, the Beyoncé Experience, the Formation World Tour, the Mrs. Carter Show World Tour, and of course, the Renaissance World Tour. And here's a fact for the haters. Beyoncé is the most successful Black touring artist in history. She has performed on every populated continent and holds the record for the most tours grossing over $200 million each by a female artist. But we've pieced together every hint Beyoncé has dropped about Act 2 and Act 3, and you won't believe what we found. First, Beyoncé's publicist Yvette addressed the growing Cowboy Carter tour speculations, which have been circulating even more as the Christmas halftime show approaches. The statement read, "Untrue, nothing to report here. Whenever there is news, you'll hear it directly from the source first," which in my opinion means until Beyoncé announces it, there's nothing to talk about. But now, I might be reading too much into this, but it reminded me of when rumors swirled about Beyoncé attending the political DNC event for the Kamala Harris campaign. Her publicist didn't deny the claim back then until later in the day, when everyone's hopes were already up. And what happened? Beyoncé didn't show.
Beyoncé's going to be at that debate.
We'll all be sitting around the table covering a debate here before long.
Well, it won't be long.
Debates of the...
Well, all week long, we've been able to peer in right behind the stage and see all of the speakers who were coming up, see some of the backstage interactions. And just a couple of minutes ago, that blue curtain came down, to use a Democratic parlance, a blue wall, if you will, which now blocks our ability to see what's happening backstage. And then separately, I've been getting lots of signals from people who are saying that there is a very special surprise guest, and we want to be very careful about not going too far. We have had sources that have told us it is Beyoncé. We have had sources that have said it is not. It is one of the biggest rumors of the evening. And of course, the song Freedom is one of the issues that has been a playlist already, whether a DJ is spinning it or people are doing the lyrics. That, of course, is Beyonce's song. And one of the big questions is, will she be here tonight?
The blue curtain, the blue wall. We're right at the edge of just lunacy. I got to say, Lester, if it's not Beyonce, I hope they're going to deliver Taylor Swift or something.
They better come up with someone, because the anticipation in this room and this rumor has persisted all day. People have been stopping me and like, I know something.
I know.
But then there was the Houston rally, and those allegations weren't debunked at all. In fact, Beyonce actually showed up to give a speech. But fast forward to now, her publicist quickly shut down the rumors about Beyonce going on tour. However, they added that if there is a tour, don't believe the rumors unless Beyonce says something. And honestly, that sounds like a move Beyonce would make. Throwing us off on purpose, because after she trolled us about the visuals on Halloween, everything she does is trolling at this point. And I'll get deeper into why I think like that when we get to the visual conversation, but I can't seem to take her serious on top of her being known for hiding Easter eggs right in front of us. And I also want to mention that her publicist recently made another statement saying it's untrue and that her performance will not be 20 minutes, in response to rumors about her set being extended for the Christmas halftime show. Plus, with a quick research, the NFL halftime shows are typically 13 minutes long, and I'm not saying that it's impossible for them to extend it, but let's be real, football games run on a tight schedule, especially for huge shows like this, especially with Beyonce involved and the world tuning in. They have ads to play, the rest of the game to finish, and don't forget the field cleanup after the halftime performance. Even with pre-game ads running to fill gaps, stretching the halftime show would still be tricky in my opinion, but not impossible. And not only that, but I also think she's been teasing the tour name right in front of our eyes this entire time. Take this website, bencountry.com. From the name alone, she's letting everyone, especially the haters, know that country isn't new to her. She's been country. So it would only make sense for her to prove that point by naming the tour after it. Also, I have to add, this theory came to me out of nowhere, but remember her first halftime show announcement, the one where she revealed that she will be performing on Christmas, but what I noticed was that the license plate on the car she's standing on, it says Ben Country. And like I always say and have been saying, when you spot a pattern with Beyonce, it's usually a clue to something bigger or more. Now, shifting gears to my tour theory, I think Beyonce might be following a similar timeline to the Renaissance album. As we've seen, Beyonce loves date matching. She dropped the Renaissance tour dates in February 2023, so it's totally possible she could do the same for 2025. But I'm speculating that she could announce the tour during the halftime show because, let's face it, that would be the perfect moment, because remember when she announced the album during the Super Bowl with a commercial? Well, this commercial from United Airlines also could be a clue, because they dropped a Renaissance-coded commercial that included footage from the Renaissance tour along with a plane. Now, we know this could just be for promotion, but it could also represent how fans fly to another state to see a show, or even multiple shows. As soon as this ad dropped and rumors started swirling, the rumor was later denied by Beyonce's publicists, which we previously showed, and not only that, but she also added that if it didn't come from the source, then it's not true. This could also correlate to Beyonce not confirming it yet, but still teasing the hive. But even if Beyonce had nothing to do with this ad, it would still be genius, because fans are already wondering if a tour is going to be announced. So putting this ad out right now of all times is brilliant. But learning from her dropping the album date during a Super Bowl commercial, I never underestimate Beyonce's moves, and this doesn't sound too unrealistic. But on the other hand, there also was a Pinterest commercial with Beyonce coded Cowboy Carter and Renaissance attire, but maybe these are just teasers to make us think certain things. But it sounded like her publicist was trying to tell us, but without telling us by denying it, then finishing it off with, if it wasn't confirmed by B or her team, then it's not accurate. But if you really pay attention to this commercial, I noticed watching it, the woman in the footage goes from blue jean, which could stand for something like the Levi brand, which Beyonce has also recently recorded a commercial for. So that also makes me think that these commercials are connected in a way, like how Beyoncé connects everything with her projects. But then the woman switched into silver attire to represent the Renaissance theme, and later into regular cowboy attire. And this is the point where I noticed something. The theme changed into black, and that could also be another clue that Act 3 could be rock, because it happened during the third outfit switch, where the color theme was black, which feels like another intentional hint that rock could be next. But then I noticed how they added gold at the end, and this could either hint at something else entirely or be a way to throw the public off by introducing another theme and color that could fit into this category of clues. But let's take a look at Beyoncé's timeline again. The Renaissance album dropped on July 29th, 2022. The Renaissance tour followed in the summer of 2023. Then the Cowboy Carter album dropped on March 29th, 2024. So do you see the pattern here? An album one year, a tour the next. If this holds, we could expect an Act 2 tour in the summer of 2025. And I say the summer of 2025 because in Beyoncé's GQ magazine interview, she said, "I build my work schedule around my family, and I try to only tour when my kids are out of school." Then Act 3 could follow in 2026. But I also think that since she's releasing a perfume every year, she could have her team pass out samples of each new fragrance during her tours. This could explain why she's dropping a fragrance annually. And honestly, I feel this strategy applies to every business she's launched during this trilogy period. From the perfumes to the albums and tours, everything Beyoncé does seems so interconnected. During the Renaissance tour, her team handed out samples of her first perfume, C'est Noir, outside the stadiums. This was genius marketing, promoting a product alongside her shows. But I also think that since she's releasing a perfume every year, she could have her team pass out samples of each new fragrance during her tours. This could explain why she's dropping a fragrance annually. And honestly, I feel this strategy applies to every business she's launched during this trilogy period. This project feels so massive because there are 3 acts, and she's using the attention from the music to promote her businesses right alongside the albums. It's a smart business move, in my opinion. If she keeps this up, we might see a new fragrance drop with every album and tour. By the end of the trilogy, fans could have a full collection to choose from. What do you think? Will Beyoncé stick to these patterns, or will she surprise us with something completely unexpected? Let me know in the comments below.
Until I know what she's doing, I'm not buying tickets for nothing, okay? Christmas Day, if she doesn't announce anything, then I'll buy my ticket for SZA and Kendrick. But until the horse lady opens her mouth and says she's going on tour for Cowboy Carter, it's above me.
So you working on Act 2, that tour?
You know I can't talk about it.
You can do anything you want to do.
You know I can't talk
Just
about
blink
it.
if you're already working on it. Just she's not blinking. I'm not telling you nothing. Wow, we could tell her the national secrets. She could get captured. She ain't telling nothing. I don't
Mama
know
I
nothing.
don't play about her. I don't know nothing. I don't know.
You must be in rehearsal, right?
I don't know. You know.
Because y'all going on tour next year, right? Are you busy next year?
You know. Why are you trying to get me in trouble?
Do you have a cowboy hat? Do you have 10?
You know, I got my cowboy shoes. You know, I kind of look kind of cowboy now, but I got everything. You know, I can't.
You're good though. You're good though. The trust is deep because you're good.
Everybody talking about they don't have the money for a Beyonce tour. I don't have the money for a Beyonce tour. But why I know if she announces a tour, y'all all gonna find the money. Y'all all gonna find the money in 2 hands to heaven. Cause I know I'm gonna have that $675 in my account when it's announced, okay? Okay!
Join the Hive Club, our exclusive community where fans share the latest, discuss theories, and connect. You can also check out our Amazon storefront for Beyoncé-inspired finds, and don't forget to visit our Linktree for all our socials. Everything you need is in the description below.